were they welcomed? Were they instantly given a vision for what they were going to be doing? Were they empowered from the very first moment? Did they feel like they landed in a safe and wonderful place? Or did they feel nervous and scared and have no one guiding them? So how you treat someone in their first 10 minutes on the job is extremely important. And it's indicative of whether the culture in that particular restaurant that hired them is thriving or whether it's lagging. And so, you can learn more from a person who's been there 3 hours, as a new employee, than you would ever imagine about the culture. Because someone, just like when you walk into, any business, how do you feel when you walk into your neighborhood bookstore? How do you feel when you walk into your neighborhood, whatever, electronics store? Do you feel like someone cares that you just walked in? Do you feel like they're glad you're there? Do you feel like they want to help you? Or do you feel like you're just some guy who walked in and they couldn't give a damn that you're in there? That matters, right? And in a store or a place or a business with a great culture, when a customer walks in, they feel like you feel walking into a good friend's house. Like they're excited to see you, they're glad you're there, and they want to help you.
Let's talk about your new documentary series, Connected. Tell us a little bit about that. A Search for Unity. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay. Well, we discussed how at Chipotle I interviewed more than 20,000, and it's well more than that. It's just I didn't keep an exact count, but more than 20,000 people one-on-one in the restaurants. And there were a lot of people who watched me do that and sort of learned from the way I interacted with people. And I guess what I am told was special about the way I interacted with people is that I tend to draw people out. People tend to want to bare their souls to me. And I could tell you the reasons for that. It's pretty obvious, but and the reason for that is that I myself am vulnerable. I myself am quick to cry, quick to laugh, quick to feel feelings. I feel the feelings of those I'm speaking with. I can feel them. It's like because I'm very vulnerable. I'm very attuned to them. It's like I care about them, right? There's a feeling of love for who I'm talking to very quickly, and so that tends to cause people to feel very safe, and they tend not to feel defensive. They tend not to feel scared or that they are going to be in trouble for saying the wrong thing, quote unquote. So they tend to open up quickly. So one of the people, whose name is David Gottlieb, who worked for me at Chipotle for many years, after I left Chipotle and I got my pilot's license, and then I got my instrument rating, so I started flying around the country having fun with that. He said, what you really ought to do is take that airplane, fly around, and just meet people and bring a camera, because you would have extraordinary conversations and learn so much about the people in this country. And it was that simple, and I thought about that for a few months. And then David went off to have a senior executive job at another company. But my other friend, David Chrisman, who was himself working as a top executive at a company in Ohio, reached out to me and said, hey, I'm enjoying, being CEO of this company, but I'd rather be digging ditches with you. And I said, well, shit, come on out. Let's do something together. And he has helped me in so many ways. One is, helping to find the publisher for the book and all that stuff. He does stuff that I don't get and end up doing. So he helps me to be the best version of myself. So I sort of look at David as my CEO of me. Like I'm his guy. He's the CEO of me.
I need a CEO of me, for God's sake.
Right. Yeah. So find one. It's awesome. But he's good at bringing out the best in me and pushing me to be better than I would be, or to jump into stuff I wouldn't jump into. And so he really helped. He helped find an executive producer for the show, and he himself is also an executive producer, and I'm an executive producer because we do the docuseries together. I write all the words for it that I say and the voiceover, and these guys go out and find the people to talk to. And we go talk to them. And what we've learned is just incredible. I mean, we've done 6 episodes in, coast to coast, north, south, east, west, gone to interesting places where one of us thought it would be an interesting story. And we've learned incredible amounts from unbelievably wise people. We've learned, as I thought we would, that this is not a divided country. We are not a divided country. That's a bunch of bullshit. That's media and the news stations and people in power who keep their power or get more power by calling us a divided nation. If you go out and talk to people in this country, we are not divided. Now, yes, there are people who have strongly different opinions. There are people who have different religions or different political backgrounds. But when you sit down and talk to them and just be open with them, what you find is they are brilliant. They've got incredible wisdom. They've got incredible ideas. They care about each other, and they would stop to help someone who needed their help, whether they're Republican or Democrat, or whether they're Christian or Buddhist or Jewish, or it doesn't matter. I mean, so people are, there isn't this divided nation anywhere near as, and that's why the show is called Connected, A Search for Unity. I was really going out and trying to demonstrate that there's a lot more that unites us than divides us, that each of us wants actually the same thing in life. And I've always believed this, so I wanted to sort of demonstrate it through the docuseries, that everyone wants to be, to be loved. Everyone wants to be seen, valued, understood. I mean, we all want that, right? We all want someone to see who we really are, to love who we really are, to accept who we really are, and to care about us, and to value us, and when you do care about someone, see them, value them, understand them, guess what? They'll do the same to you. And that's what's going on in this country, in this world. And I think this show demonstrates this in a really beautiful way. And I'm actually really excited how it turned out. We've dealt with some very difficult issues. We've dealt with the opioid crisis, and we've dealt with people who have committed murder. We've dealt with people who have had their children. I mean, in one case, we went to Brunswick, Georgia, where the young man Ahmaud Arbery was shot and killed by the three guys who chased him down in a pickup truck. Very famous murder, that happened, that caused the whole country to go into turmoil. Except it really didn't cause Brunswick, Georgia to go into turmoil. It was very painful. It was extremely heartbreaking. But the town of Brunswick, Georgia, decided to pull together, communicate, and stay strong and stay peaceful, and they did so. I spoke with his father at length. I spoke with his uncle. I fell in love with these guys. They have managed to be people who still have a connection with God, who still have hope, who still believe in the world as being a good place after such a horrible tragedy. And what could be more inspiring than to see that, through such pain? And they have every reason to say that the world's a shitty place and just hell with everybody. But that's not the way they've reacted. And the town has had every reason to riot and break windows and smash shit and burn things. But they didn't do that. They pulled together and united even tighter over this terrible tragedy. And I talked to people from every walk of life in that town. I talked to people who were waving Confederate flags and who loved the Confederate flag. I talked to people who were civil rights activists who walked with Martin Luther King. I talked to young people. I talked to old people. I talked to, so many people. And what I found was incredible wisdom, incredible unity, and just beauty and love and goodness. And, and this is in the midst of something that could have been and should have been maybe terribly, terribly divisive. But people, joined hands over it to try to make the world a better place. And it's incredibly inspiring.
Sounds it. I have chills just listening to that. And it's stories like that people need to hear, especially now more than ever with everything that's been going on in this world. How have you dealt with the whole pandemic and the craziness of this new way of life that we're living?
Well, I guess I look at it as, it's a tragic thing that we've lost 400,000 plus people. I mean, that's tragic, and it's very, very sad. I think that generally speaking, though, on any given day that we wake up, we have more to be thankful for than we have to be depressed about. We live in an absolutely wonderful country that's filled with 330 million super beautiful, wise, incredible people that are diverse, that have different ideas and have different thoughts, but yet all agree that we want to be in peace, that we want to love each other, that we want to care about each other, that we want a better country, that we want to unite rather than divide. And it's an amazing place. We have such freedom in this country. I mean, I've been able to get my pilot's license and fly around the country. What an incredible bit of freedom. But even if you don't have a pilot's license, you can go do what you want, talk to who you want, say what you want, believe what you want, without fear of being, persecuted or prosecuted for your ideas or your beliefs. And that's amazing. That's, this experiment of the United States of America, this idea of a place that really is a place of freedom and democracy, where each of us can be whatever we want to be. It's a beautiful and amazing experiment. And you know what? It has to work, because if it doesn't, there's no other country in the world that's even trying it like we are. And there's no other place in the world that's going to carry the flag of democracy, the flag of freedom, the flag of everyone being encouraged to be at their very, very, very best, a country that believes in everyone to be at their best. I mean, there isn't another place like it. There just isn't. And there isn't a place where there isn't a caste system. And people will argue, well, yes, of course, there's people born into poverty in the United States, and there's others who are born with a silver spoon in their mouth. And there's no doubt that that's true. But there still is more mobility between, poor people who can become wealthy, or poor people who can rise up to change our country, change our nation, and to have a loud voice in helping to shape us and our future. That's more possible here than anywhere in the world. And we've got to remember that and celebrate that and continue to build the country to be more like that, such that, the American dream is more of a reality and less of a dream.
It sounds like a dream to me. You must read his book, Love is Free, Guac is Extra. Watch his documentary series, Connected. Monty Moran, former co-CEO of Chipotle. What a great talk this was this morning. So inspiring. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing your journey.
Wendy. Well, thanks for your interest.
Your journey since, oh my God, your journey since way back Dairy Queen to Chipotle, to being a janitor, to being the CEO, to your documentary, to your book, to to talking about leadership and the way that you did it. You did it different than most people do it. And I think so many people can learn from you and from your book, and just listening to you talk, and maybe make the world a better place a little bit here.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, I really appreciate it. You've been very kind to me. I thank you. And I hope that people do get a chance to pick up the book, and I hope they learn as much from it as some of the people who've written me about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you want to leave us with any last minute thoughts?
Well, I guess if I was going to leave you with any last minute thought, I would start by just encouraging everyone to sort of appreciate the moment they're having now, even if it's a difficult moment, even if it's a sad moment, even if it's a moment where they're impatient or don't really love what they're doing at the moment. But just to try to sort of understand that each moment in our lives is as valuable as any other moment in our lives. The moments in our lives where we're quote unquote happy or smiling or laughing, while we tend to like them better, they are not more valuable than the times when we're crying or sad or even angry or upset or frustrated. All of those different feelings and emotions we're having in this life are part of the tapestry of our lives. And if you took out the stuff that's sort of not as much fun, like feeling really sad or upset or angry or frustrated, if you took that stuff out, there wouldn't be the moments of joy and love and enthusiasm and contentment. I mean, it's all part of the same tapestry. And so if we really learn to sort of appreciate the moments that are difficult, or even forgive them, or understand that they're important, and that is, I think, the beginning of a life where we reject ourselves a lot less, where we reject people around us a lot less, and where we start to live with a very sort of complete heart and more capacity to love and care about other people around us.
Like I said, there's no one like you. Monty Moran, thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for this, and thank you for all you said and all you taught us and all you taught me today. Thank you.
Oh, well, you're so welcome, Wendy. Well, thank you very much, and I look forward to talking to you again, I hope someday soon.
I hope someday too. Thanks so much. Thanks for joining me on this episode of What's Up with Wendy. If you love this episode, head over to iTunes or your favorite platform to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Please also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at What's Up with Wendy. You can learn more about my podcast on my website, whatsupwithwendy.com. Until next time, this is Wendy Lowy Sloan. Keep being kind.